Hi, I'm Jed Strnad, and this is my presentation over understanding my community, the community of Russell, Kansas, which is where I work and teach high school agriculture grades 9 through 12. Um, when it comes to understanding the customs and traditions so that a person is able to communicate, you kind of have to know and understand where people are coming from. The community of Russell is centered highly around agriculture and oil, and also religion plays a large part in the ideas and traditions of the community. When I first moved to Russell, I could see that there was a sense of pride in people, not necessarily in the outward aspects of the community, in the visual aspects. There has been a lot of buildings because of the the strong oil boom in the 70s and 80s. There's been a lot of buildings that have become dilapidated and ran down, but there's still a sense of pride in being from the community. Next, they're a very conservative community, especially politically. However, they are very liberal in some areas, especially the arts. And also, when it comes, I've seen the use and consumption of alcohol. I feel they're very liberal about, especially as compared to other areas that I've lived, where maybe it might not be looked upon highly if a teacher or a school board member or a business person was maybe in the bar. There, it's really not. Doesn't seem to be frowned upon at all. Religion and social class always seem to cause groups or cliques to form, and that does have some effect on curriculum and things taught in local policy laws that are passed. One effect on the curriculum that I see in schools is we have a large German contingent of our population, and so whenever it comes time to decide what foreign languages are taught in schools, although I think we have two. We have Spanish and German. German is always at the forefront of something that people believe needs to be taught, although Spanish might be a little bit more useful I believe, in today's economic society. Arts is another one that when I first moved to Russell, I couldn't believe we're a small 4A, 3A high school. We have 3 art teachers, one for the elementary grades, one for the middle school, and one for the high school. And the arts are something that's very highly supported in our community. Secondly, change when it comes to customs and traditions, I think, can happen slow or fast depending on what it is that we're talking about. One of the things, because Russell has such a strong history and background in the oil industry, they're very pro natural resources, use of oil and natural gas, and depending on who you talk to, very anti renewable energy, which is something that's coming on right now in our country with wind energy and alternative fuels like ethanol and biofuels. But they're very much against that, and so that was an idea of a change that is happening relatively slowly in this particular community. When it comes to the population, according to the 2010 census, Russell County had 6,970 people. That's down about 5.4% from the previous census in 2000. The city of Russell, 4,506. Some other demographic information about the county and surrounding area: 23% are over the age of 65, 21% only are under the age of 18, which that's led to a lot of declining school enrollment as well as declining population overall as some of that older contingent begins to pass away. And also another statistic that I found, 50.6% of the population, right about half, are women. Which may lead to different wants and desires when ideas are brought up in the community. They're also a very conservative community, as I mentioned before, largely because religion plays a big role. There's a large Catholic church that was just actually, we just built a new Catholic church, the community church did, as well as a large Lutheran church, and there's also 2 Methodist churches within the city of Russell. When it comes to ethnically, 95.3% of the population is white, only 1.6% is Hispanic, and that was the second largest ethnic group. However, when I drive to work in the morning and look around town as I'm going at the hotels and some of the different things where there's people working, I find it hard to believe there's only 1.6% of the population that's Hispanic. However, I have to think that maybe some of these workers, especially in the oil field, probably slipped through the cracks and aren't recorded in the census and are moving around continually, and maybe aren't recorded in our data. When it comes to communication, it's important to understand what works. The big 3 for the Russell area: radio, television, and our biweekly newspaper. Our radio station is KRSL Russell Radio. They do things like morning news, as well as they play music all day, obviously, but morning news, school announcements, and they also do a program called People in the News, where somebody new around the community comes in each day. 1 day a week is set aside for the school, and I've actually gotten to be a part of that. Actually, once a year, where I come in and give an update from my agriculture program in the FFA. They also broadcast a variety of school events, especially sporting events, over the radio station. Russell County News is our newspaper, again published twice a week, follows a lot of school activities, and also has news from our school board and minutes. There's always someone present at the board meetings to keep track of what's going on within the school board. Our local news channel, we have two actually, a local community channel and also one for the school. These local news channels not only announce for the school, but also the community. There's one available for the Eagle community cable channel, and also one for Nextech. We have two different cable providers in town. Finally, social media has become a large, very important thing when it comes to communicating the news, especially within our the Russell Chamber of Commerce has a Facebook page that she updates and provides updates from all of the local businesses as well as the schools, that gets out to any of the people who have friended the Russell Chamber of Commerce. I seem to be moving pretty quickly. The reason for that is because I got through this once and it took me more than 15 minutes, and that was more than the program would allow me to do, so I'm having to go a little quicker the next time. Some community groups that are important. Kiwanis and Rotary are some basically national or international leadership type groups that are involved with adults, but also work with the schools. Key Club at Russell High School is kind of a branch of Kiwanis, and so they work hand in hand with Kiwanis and doing a lot of service type of activities. But both of these groups meet over the lunch hour, usually different days of the week, and they invite students, teachers, coaches to come in and speak at some of their various meetings. These groups keep a public eye on the schools and allow influential community members to see important programs, courses, activities within the school. Another group, or some other groups that are influential, would be the Russell Area Community Foundation. First of all, they donate lots of money to our school to improve things like technology. It was basically a trust fund that was set up where people donate maybe when they pass away or what have you. They donate money. There are several $1 million in this fund at this point. And this last year they donated over $30,000 just to Russell, USD 407 and Russell, to make various improvements. One of them was purchasing iPads for special education students. There are also various women's sororities, the Parent Teachers Organization, site councils that work to donate money, assistance, or advice when it comes to maybe what will help make our students successful. And often influential members of the community are part of these groups. Next, Big Brothers Big Sisters. We work with we got started through Ellis County, but that works to provide an example and mentoring for younger students. It's also a great opportunity for high school students to get the chance to work with somebody younger and provide some influence and leadership in their lives. There is really no one organization that causes problems for the school, although there may be a few individuals every now and again that voice their opinion loudly, come into the school and cause problems, or at a board meeting, but no real one organization. Next, knowing your leadership is important, and this is an idea I stole from a college professor of mine, Dr. Barry Flinchbaugh. The idea of king makers versus kings. The people that have the influence on leadership in Russell, or in the Russell County area or Russell area, are the large oil and ag interests, as well as other influential people, maybe a retired lawyer, doctor, someone that maybe has some money and some respect and influence in the community. And then we have those who are influenced, who are actually the kings, or the people who hold the positions of leadership: school board members, administrators, teachers, law enforcement, and then local policymakers. These people don't necessarily have to be wealthy, but their opinion must definitely be respected, especially by the ones who are in the influenced position or the leadership position itself, because they are the people that get the results and get things done. When it comes to situational versus positional leadership, I believe there's both. Not only leadership by position and the people that are actually holding the position, but when the situation arises, I feel that the people that behind the scenes step up and sometimes cause the influence or the change to happen. This page, for whatever reason, didn't come out quite like I wanted it to. Some of the words are jumbled up, but the community leader's characteristics, it's not necessarily about what you know, but who you know. And that may be true of a lot of small town politics. Leadership is also more or less accessible depending on who you are. One thing I found is sometimes the policymakers and things, when you're not from there, maybe you're not quite as important to them, especially when you come in, from outside. A person who is a leader, though, would know where to go to cause an influence within the community and within the policy or law being made. The political process is often sped up by those influential people who are able to get something done through their influence. The next slide is understanding the economic conditions. Our average unemployment in Russell County is 4.9%, which is far below the national average. There are a lot of major industries, the major industries and employers in Russell County include agriculture, either in production or services. You might be a farmhand or own a farm or work for one of the various support services because of that. The same is true of the oil industry. Many services, whether it be pumping or pulling units, people checking wells, all those variety of services included. Education, though, is the largest single employer in Russell County. USD 407 employs right around 150 people, which is the largest single employer in Russell County. Our median household income for Russell is about $36,135. And I feel the job availability is pretty good depending on your willingness to work. If you're willing to go out and work in the oil field, there's always a job for you. Similarly, there's a lot of jobs available within, around the interstate and some of the restaurants and housing types of things that are available through the interstate. Home ownership, 75.3% of people own their home. Median home value is $63,300, and there is a relatively high valuation in property in Russell County. We have one of the wealthier valuations in property in the state due to the oil wells and oil interest. Some other things, it was important, I guess, in this slide to provide some information about some district or some area people that might give you more information. So I left the school district business office as well as the address of the Russell Chamber of Commerce and the Russell Economic Development address and phone number. Understanding the political structure. Can we separate politics from education was the question posed. There's more money spent at the state level and local level on education than any other form of government. The 2013 budget, 63% of the general fund is spent on education in the state of Kansas, and that's 43% of all funds. Our structure locally, we have a county commission that's made up of 3 members. Our city is a mayor and 8 council members. School board, superintendent, president, board, and 6 members. And I feel it's important to know your local representatives. Locally, they're listed there. Dan Collins and Alan Schmidt are our state ones. Tim Hulskamp is our U.S. Congressman for our district. Jerry Moran and Pat Roberts, state senators. It's important if there's an issue relating to education, especially, to contact your congressman. Social tensions, and I think I'm on the last slide. Racial tension, not really a problem due to a lack of diversity. Gangs, there's really not too much of that. Mostly it's due to troubled kids and wannabes. Drugs and alcohol do cause some contribution to some tensions. There are a lot of cliques and social circles, mostly dependent on social class or income level. The discrimination, though, is based mostly on whether you're from the community or outside the community. If you've lived there a long time, they might not discriminate against you as much as somebody who's just coming in. Some causes of those tensions: socioeconomic status, religious affiliation, level of education, and career path, or the career that you choose primarily right after high school. Some of the resources and things that I used in my presentation, statistics and things, were found at some of these sources. The City of Russell State Legislature website, Russell County also has a website, the Chamber of Commerce for Russell, and the U.S. Census Bureau. Thank you, and hopefully you enjoyed a little bit about learning about my community.